Hi, I'm Trey Sharp, and this is my Beekeeping Phase 1.5 presentation. So my biggest accomplishments in Phase 1 were showing how to harvest honey from a beehive, demonstrating extraction and filtering, and demonstrating elements of advanced bee handling. Specifically that being splitting a hive, since that's a really complicated process that involves trapping the queen and moving frames from one hive to a nook. So for what I've completed so far is I've identified how much honey should be left for wintering. I've demonstrated how to collect and process beeswax. I've demonstrated how to make candles from beeswax, explained the importance of bee pollination, and identified nectar sources for bees. For what I've improved on, or what's different between Phase 2 and Phase 1, is that in Phase 1 I was adding supers on the hive so the bees could make more honey. And then in Phase 2, I took those supers off, and I was having to check the hive's weight about every week to make sure that they had enough honey so they could live through the winter. So in these videos, I can show you and talk through what that looks like. So in this video, you can see that I'm using my hive tool to pry out a frame of the super. This is sometime in April. So the honey flow was good and the bees were producing a lot of honey. So I was having to check my super about every 3 weeks, I believe, to check their progress. So I'm using my hive tool, as you can see, to pry out the frame of the beehive. And once I get it out, I'm going to look over the frame and I'm going to be looking for any honey that I might see on the frame or pollen, just any kind of indicator that would show me that they're filling in the hive. So you can see now I'm inspecting it. I'm kind of looking at it towards the sun because I'm trying to see the glare of the honey from the sun. You have to check both sides, obviously, and now I'm going to bring it closer to the camera so we can get a look at it too. Now on this side of the frame, I'm not really seeing any indication that the bees have put anything on the hive other than the comb, or anything on the frame other than the comb. And on this side, it looks like they have some pollen, but no honey or nectar in there yet. So I do this in this video a couple more times with some more frames because bees work from the outside in. And yeah. So in this video, I'm going to check the weight of the hive. As you can see here, I'm getting ready to lift it up from the bottom. And I can't really describe what the weight feels like or how many pounds the hive should be. It's just kind of a feeling because I had lifted the hive so much to feel the weight during the summer. I knew when it was light or when it was heavy. So in this video, I determined that the hive was too light and I needed to make some sugar water for the bees so they could have something to eat. The biggest thing I have left to do in Phase 2 is construct a beehive. I put a picture up on the slide of what a base beehive looks like. It'll come shipped to me in parts, and I'll have to glue and nail these parts together. And then once that's done, I'll have to paint over them so they don't rot in the rain. So this is going to be a long process and why I consider it to be the biggest thing I have to do for Phase 2. And finally, this wraps up everything that I wanted to talk about in my Phase 1.5 presentation.